A company can execute its internal strategy flawlessly, hitting every production benchmark and revenue target. Then, out of nowhere, unseen external forces strike and knock the entire operation off course. Modern corporate planning often relies exclusively on internal momentum and financial strength. Leadership builds a robust balance sheet and assumes that is enough to absorb any market friction. That assumption ignores the macro environment. This is the complex web of shifting government policies, economic cycles, and social transformations that act as invisible gravity on an industry. Maintaining a long-term competitive advantage requires a systematic radar to detect these external threats and map them long before they cause operational failure. Consider Greenleaf Beverages, a successful mid-size U.S. company with $120 million in domestic revenue, preparing a $15 million capital investment to expand into the European Union. Greenleaf's board recognized a severe problem. The EU operates under a distinct regulatory, cultural, and economic landscape. Their successful domestic playbook would fail in this new market. To prevent a highly expensive misstep, the executive team deployed a specific strategic framework to scan this unfamiliar macro environment, PESTLE Analysis. This framework categorizes external factors into 6 distinct dimensions. The first half targets political policies, economic conditions, and social or demographic trends. The second half targets technological innovations, legal requirements, and environmental mandates. PESTLE forces teams to translate chaotic, unpredictable global events into a structured, shared vocabulary. It gives executive decision-makers a clear picture of what is happening outside the boardroom. The first step in applying this framework is establishing strict geographic boundaries. Greenleaf constrained their analysis specifically to Germany, France, and the Netherlands. A proper scan requires diverse inputs. Greenleaf assembled a cross-functional team, drawing expertise from legal, supply chain, and marketing. Leaving this entirely to a siloed strategy team guarantees critical blind spots. Look at this photograph from the Port of Dover. It illustrates a key political finding for Greenleaf. EU trade agreements favor organic imports, but post-Brexit border friction creates severe supply route instability that the supply chain team had to factor in. On the economic front, the team found that while the Eurozone economy showed moderate growth, rising inflation was actively eroding consumer purchasing power. These combined macroeconomic and political realities dictated that Greenleaf had to carefully calibrate their premium pricing strategy to hit strict margin targets without pricing themselves out of the market. Moving to the social dimension, the marketing experts identified a strong, growing consumer preference for health-conscious and organic products in both Germany and the Netherlands. However, this opportunity was immediately countered by a significant social threat. European consumers exhibited deep, entrenched brand loyalty to established local organic competitors. The technological dimension provided a logistical advantage. Western Europe possesses an advanced cold chain logistics infrastructure, ensuring product quality remains high during distribution. The team also identified a secondary technological opportunity in the rapid penetration of e-commerce for beverages, opening a viable channel for direct-to-consumer sales. Synthesizing these social and technological dynamics forced Greenleaf to abandon their established U.S. brand positioning. They had to completely localize their European marketing strategy to break through the entrenched loyalty. The legal and compliance teams uncovered the most severe operational threats. The EU enforces significantly more stringent food labeling regulations than the US, alongside mandatory GDPR compliance for any digital activity. This European Commission backdrop highlights the primary environmental threat. The European Green Deal places immense regulatory pressure on corporations to implement sustainable, recyclable packaging. Specifically, the analysis flagged the incoming requirement for strict carbon emission reporting at every stage of the supply chain. Market data confirmed that European consumers actively penalize brands that fail to meet these ecological expectations, directly tying environmental compliance to revenue. Within the EU market, meeting environmental and legal standards is a non-negotiable prerequisite for market entry. Failure in these areas prevents an operation from functioning legally. A raw, exhaustive list of external factors is useless without structural prioritization. You cannot effectively act on 50 data points at once. This 2x2 grid is a prioritization matrix. It maps each external factor by assessing its probability of occurring against the severity of its impact on the business. GDPR compliance and strict EU food labeling regulations map directly into the top right quadrant, high likelihood and high impact. Meanwhile, the Brexit supply chain logistics issues map into a medium impact, medium likelihood zone, requiring active monitoring rather than immediate operational overhaul. Scoring these factors on a strict numeric scale forces executive consensus and eliminates the emotional bias of internal teams advocating for pet projects. The matrix serves as the crucial bridge. It converts a vast, abstract macro-environmental scan into a highly targeted shortlist of required corporate actions. Greenleaf executed a direct strategic response to the high-priority threats on their matrix. They invested upfront in EU-specific organic certification and entirely reformulated their product labels prior to launch. To meet the environmental mandates, they abandoned their standard plastic bottles for fully recyclable packaging, aligning their product physically with the European Green Deal. Technologically, they built and audited a localized GDPR-compliant digital platform before running a single marketing campaign. This dashboard tracks the result of that preparation. Within 18 months, Greenleaf achieved €8.2 million in European revenue, beating first-year targets by 14%. More importantly, the analysis provided critical cost avoidance. By structuring their compliance upfront, the company saved an estimated $2 million in potential fines, reactive adjustments, and post-launch packaging redesigns. Proactive macro-environmental scanning is always vastly cheaper and operationally more effective than reactive crisis management. PESTLE analysis fails when it is conducted in a strategic vacuum. It is only the first step in a broader assessment. PESTLE represents the outermost layer of business intelligence, mapping the macro environment. This feeds directly into micro-environmental analyses, like Porter's 5 forces. Combined, they form the opportunities and threats in a SWOT analysis, creating a complete strategic picture. The high-priority threats identified on the PESTLE matrix then transferred directly into the Enterprise Risk Register, ensuring ongoing executive oversight. Because the external environment never stops shifting, this process must be integrated into annual planning cycles as a continuous operational rhythm. Organizations that embed environmental scanning into a continuous operational rhythm gain a structural advantage over those that remain reactive to external shifts.